Welcome to today's InsideSales.com webinar, a crash course on inside sales tips, tricks, and trends, featuring Trish Bertuzzi, President and Chief Strategist of the Bridge Group, Lori Richardson, B2B Midmarket Sales Expert, and Bob Perkins, Founder and Chairman of the AA-ISP. While we wait for people to get onto the webinar today, we have a quick video from InsideSales.com about how to be a top-performing sales rep and a day-to-day interaction with the InsideSales.com platform. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Stephen Lang, and we're going to take a look at what my day looks like as an SDR at Vandelay Industries. Last Friday, my manager, Katrina Sanford, kicked off a week-long SMB Blitz campaign. Our goals? Every day she wants each of us to get 89 dials, 12 connected calls, and 3 appointments set. A bit of a stretch, but I'm going to show you how the InsideSales.com product platform accelerates my work by making my day more visible, productive, and effective. It starts with NeuroView, which tells me which leads I'm most likely to contact and close. Then I can use the Power Dialer to most efficiently communicate with those leads. Vision helps me track my engagement with those leads by monitoring their email and web engagement. And finally, Power Standings helps our sales team motivate each other and track our own goals. When these products all work side by side, I call more, engage more, track more, and more importantly, close more. Let's get started. The first thing I do is head to Salesforce to get things set up for Katrina's SMB Blitz campaign. I need a new voicemail, one that's tailored to the SMB Blitz and recorded in my own voice. That way, I don't have to repeat myself every time I get an answering machine. Instead, I just hit Leave Voicemail, and the system leaves my pre-recorded message. I do the same thing with email. Set up a pre-made SMB Blitz email, tailored from templates created by my manager. Now I'm ready to hit the phone and start dialing. In the background, NeuroView is prioritizing all my leads so I get the best ones based on likelihood to contact them this morning and based on their likelihood to set an appointment with me. On my browser, I see these likelihoods as a neural score given to each lead. My first one has a neural score of 95, which means this is a hot lead. I call, she answers, we set an appointment. Not a bad way to start the day. I log the call in Power Dialer, which saves the lead in Salesforce, and I'm ready to make the next call. I click Neural Next to get my next prioritized lead. That lead doesn't answer, but that's okay. Remember that voicemail and email I made this morning? I just click Leave Voicemail to leave that pre-recorded message, and Send Email to send my pre-made email. Easy. I keep this going through the morning. Rinse and repeat. Close to lunchtime, my coworker Henry sends me a throwdown challenge. There on the bottom left is my Power Standings app. Normally it shows my standings in the office and my key metrics, but Henry's Throwdown Challenge has taken it over. He thinks he can set more appointments than me. Throwdown accepted. Right after that, I get an email from Katrina. She used Salesforce reporting to analyze the hour-by-hour results of our last campaign. It says that the 12 p.m. hour was the most successful time to contact leads. I eat a quick lunch and am back at my desk by 12 p.m. to take advantage of this. Enjoy your luxurious lunch, Henry. With most reps gone for lunch, I receive an immediate response pop-up. Someone just filled out a web form on our site and Power Dialer let me know. These leads are the best. They call in, I answer, another appointment set, and I'm up another one on Henry. I'm ready for my next call, but I get a Vision notification. Remember that person I left a voicemail and email with this morning? He's just clicked through my email link to our website. I just press the click to call button directly from the Vision notification, and after we talk, I've set another appointment. And I keep this going through the afternoon. At 6 p.m. I get a Power Standings toast that I'm the new leader in appointments set. I don't just beat Henry, I'm the best on our team. I glance up at our leaderboard TVs and discover that I actually lead the team in dials, connects, and appointments. Pretty great start to this campaign. Katrina's hour-by-hour report shows that contacts after 6 p.m. are very low, but 9 a.m. is the second best time for contacts, so I'm done for the day. But I'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, ready to get the best leads and defend my top spot.
We have pulled together a collection of amazing clips for today's webinar with the top inside sales influencers, including Trish Bertuzzi, President and Chief Strategist of the Bridge Group. Trish will talk about the 3 common inside sales mistakes and how to avoid them. Then Lori Richardson from Score Sales, a B2B mid-market sales expert, will speak to us about why multiple strategies are better than one sales prospecting. And last but not least, we'll have Bob Perkins, founder and chairman of the AA-ISP, talk about the biggest opportunities and challenges facing the inside sales industry. Thanks again for joining us today. We know that you have busy schedules and we appreciate your time. This webinar will last about 45 minutes, each speaker taking about 10 to 15 minutes. We think this is a great training tool, so please do share. Write down some action items so that you can take what you learned today and put it into practice. This webinar is being recorded and we'll tell you how to access it at the end of the broadcast. If you guys have any audio or video issues today, just give your browser a refresh. We want to know if you're ready for today's webinar. Usually I have you type yes into the Q&A box, but to show me that you're ready today, type in the best book that you've read lately, and we'll get started.
Hi, I'm Trish Bertuzzi with the Bridge Group, and we are very excited to be part of InsideSales.com's Sales Acceleration Virtual Summit, and I am joined by my lovely and esteemed colleagues. Lori Page is the managing partner of the Bridge Group, and Sally Doobie is the general manager for our West Coast office. And today we're going to talk to you about 3 emerging trends for inside sales and 3 pitfalls you want to avoid, and we're also going to provide you with recommendations on how to avoid them. The first emerging trend I want to talk to you about is the importance of data in the sales process. You know, people will invest a ton of money in a ton of tools. They'll invest money in their people, in training, but they don't invest in data. It's because data is not sexy. But data is the fuel that powers your sales engine. What you don't want to do is have sales reps trying to figure out who to call and how to get at them. I've seen many companies lately actually invest in the role of a data analyst, someone who does nothing but data hygiene, data append, get those direct dial numbers, get those email addresses, and really front end your sales organization. So if I was going to make an investment today, I would make it in data. Sally, I'd love your take. What do you see as an emerging trend?
This is, I think, one that is really amazing after all these years of being in this business is the growth of the inside sales function and role, and that the hiring is off the charts with all facets of inside sales and different roles and functionality for the groups. And one of the problems that we're really seeing, particular maybe to the San Francisco Bay Area, is we can't find enough good people. So many companies are developing their inside sales groups and going to hire outside of their corporate headquarters. We're seeing groups being built in Austin and in Chicago, for instance. And what that means is that there's a lot of lack of support, rather, I should say, for those groups. Then they're going to be off in these non-headquarters locations. So companies are going to have to do really great jobs of setting their people up for success.
Yep. So people are not hiring in corporate anymore. They're going to remote locations, and they need to be aware of the challenges that's going to present.
Absolutely.
Excellent point. So, Lori, I'm interested in what you think is an emerging trend.
Well, I think playing off of what Sally talked about as far as hiring, we're in the Boston area as well, and we see companies hiring inside sales reps at a very high, aggressive rate. However, what I'd like to see companies take a look at and establish are retention strategies. Mm-hmm. So once we hire them, we onboard them, we train them, now we need to keep them. And so really having a clear retention strategy, and that could include anything from sales culture, sales management, mentorship, career progression, etc. But those are really important, as I said, once we've identified, found the ideal candidates, got them on board, make sure that we're able to keep them.
Because it's tough enough to hire, but then when you lose a rep, you go through all that pain and agony all over again. So Bridge Group recommends Pay attention to these emerging trends. Invest in your data. Figure out where to hire your people if you're in a high velocity hiring area. But when you do so, make sure that you have a clear plan in place for how you're going to support them. And finally, make retention a key ingredient of your success factor, because keeping them is even more important than finding them. So now let's talk about pitfalls and things to avoid and recommendations on how you can avoid them. So Sally, I'm interested in your take.
So I think one of the big pitfalls we have today is there is a lot of data that we are learning. And sort of playing off your point, though, it's not data about your own internal groups, it's data from outside companies and agencies. The Bridge Group is known for a lot of our research and our data. But we also make a point to say that you need to understand about your own groups first. These are just really points of interest, and sort of you can benchmark a little bit. But without understanding your own groups, third-party research and data, you have to be careful with that. It's not the be-all to end-all, and you need to know more than that. You need to figure out, what do I do with that information, and what does it mean to my team in particular? So there's a big piece that you need to make sure that you figure out when you're looking and utilizing any third-party data and research.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think, obviously, I'm in love with Bridge Group research. I mean, and I think it has a huge value, but I completely agree that it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. You can't take a piece of data and build a sales model around it. You need to engage with your organization, your market, your buyers, understand how to put it all together. It's actually the practitioners who know how to interpret the data, not the analysts.
Absolutely.
That's
it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Laura?
I would say, over the last couple of years, sales tools were certainly a trend, and there are so many fabulous sales tools out there today. However, I often see organizations struggle with which ones are the best for them. So really taking a step back, analyzing, seeing how it's going to impact your business, your reps, your productivity, etc. Ideally establish some type of ROI that can be measured, and knowing that some of the sales tools, based on budget, you may evolve, right? So you may start with one and then add to that as you go through the process. But to summarize, I would say to make sure that you have a strategy, you have a goal, and you know what you hope to accomplish by investing in some of these tools, and that you're going to get the ROI.
I know. There's a huge difference between a toy and a tool, right? So I want to play with all the technologies out there because I love technology, so it's like playing with toys, but are they moving the ball forward in my sales process?
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly it.
I totally agree with you there. The other thing that makes me insane, and this is one of my pitfalls and something that I'd love to address, is you don't have to automate everything. It's great that we can, and everyone's developing apps so you can, but when you look at the big picture of better, faster, cheaper, I want to say something to you vendors. Stop giving me faster, cheaper, and give me better. I don't care if I can engage with my buyers faster and more cost effectively. I want to have better conversations. I want to have better conversion rates. So better, faster, cheaper, emphasis on the better. I want to thank InsideSales.com for this opportunity. This is a really exciting virtual summit. We were so excited to be here. We love talking about all things related to inside sales. Once again, we are the Bridge Group. You can find out more about us at bridgegroupinc.com. I certainly hope you do, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Hello everyone near and far. My name is Lori Richardson, and this session will focus on a main issue in B2B outbound prospecting. It's something that we run into all the time. Before we get started though, let's first confirm who you are. Okay? I'm making an assumption that you're an SDR, sales development rep, or you're a sales rep whose primary role is to source and develop sales opportunities. You find and engage potential buyers, or perhaps you're the manager of this team. Or maybe you have some weird obsession with prospecting, I'm not sure. But you're an SDR, lead developer, and you're moving leads through the pipeline. So that's our first assumption. Now, there's also an assumption that you understand the value of your services and products that you offer. You've got to know the differentiator, because you need this in order to have a foundation to build your prospecting on. Without this, all your strategies are going to be less successful because you don't have a clear foundation here. And we're assuming that you know who your buyers are. You know them by title, or you know them by role, perhaps by industry. Maybe you're a rep with a geographic territory, or you work with social proximity. Whichever it is, there's a clear understanding of the buyers for you. Now, here's what a lot of reps do. They surf on LinkedIn or other social tools and search engines. They focus a lot of their connection time. This is valuable time to be interacting with buyers. And again, I work with reps in the trenches. I go from cube to cube, work with people every week. And whether you tend to be maybe more ADD-ish, or you're just not a strong manager of your time, a manager of the hours that you have to work and focus on creating opportunities, there's too much time, and I think a lot of it is because there's really not a strong system in place for you. So by working on a system, you can help solve that. But when you add in this next focus, it can really clog your time, and that is slow email crafting. So not using templates or tools to help you. And I don't know about you, but I've seen reps spend 30 to 45 minutes, excruciating minutes, wordsmithing emails to try to pique their buyer's curiosity and interest. If that's you, you're not putting this valuable time to best use. So you need to work on getting templates, as simple as templates in Outlook, to the tools that are available, and there are a number of them that will assist you with guides and help. What you have to do is interact with buyers, and if you spend half your day writing, you're not making good use of your time, or the best use of your time. So here's my challenge to you. If you could be 10% or 15% more productive today, maybe that would get you one extra meeting. Maybe it would get you 2 extra opportunities, demos, next calls, executive briefings. And if you did that, every day, you improved every day, think of the increased opportunities that you would have. And it's really as simple as that. You've got to interact with buyers. Now, there's still those who are told by management to make 100 calls a day, really. And why is that? Well, it's a throwback from the old days, and, management can try to measure it. They feel like they can tell how many dials you're making. How does management measure a LinkedIn conversation, for example? So this is a challenge management is facing, and we have to step up and give a whole new system of showing activity and success. I like to do it based on how many great conversations, how many good conversations, and you define what a conversation is, and that can help you a lot. But I know sales reps that call the same person multiple times a day for weeks, and not one person, but actually they prospect this way. So they have a very short list, and they make tons and tons and tons of tries to the same people. So none of these work just by themselves, because here's the deal. You need to meet your buyers where they are. And there's no one way, but there is a system we use, which we call a multifaceted sales prospecting system. and it's like the facets on a gemstone. A system that tracks how you're reaching out, tracks who you're reaching, and here's the bottom line. You're mixing it up, so you're more likely to connect to your buyers. You might say, well, how much more likely could I connect? Here's an example. One rep only made calls. He started using a social strategy, reached someone he never could get by phone, and it was a decision maker, and closed a $250,000 recurring revenue deal. That's an annual deal. So clearly, it was a lot smarter for him to try to add in another way and to find his buyer who he would never find by phone. He would never be able to reach that way, and he found it quickly and much easier than he probably thought he could. So let's go through some of these options. All right, the referral is by far the best way to reach a prospective new client. We call it the high road because, it's the short path in. When you're referred by someone, deals close quicker and often better because you were referred by a trusted source. And you can be referred internally, or you can be referred through an executive referral outside of a company to your buying team. And this is a beautiful thing when it can happen. So there's a lot of weight in spending time working on who you can be referred through. And I would definitely listen to other sessions on that as well. The phone is a go-to tool. I mean, if you use a dialer system, you use local presence. Many reps we see are just not comfortable dialing to find buyers. And this is part of the multifaceted gemstone because calling is quick, it's simple, and you'll reach some of your buyers this way. So this is, if you're one of those people that live through email, I was once accused of hiding behind email because that's all I did. I just emailed everyone. It was quick for me. I had a system down, but I was missing people that I can easily connect with on the phone. And I would encourage you, if you're one of those people, to just try it. Try it this week, try it next week, and make it a point to find someone through a social platform, pick up the phone and call them and see if you don't have a better conversation, a better use of your time that way. Email is very effective in reaching executives. I find that executives and most people are going to be looking at their email off hours, off times when you wouldn't normally catch them by phone. We know this to be true. The challenge, though, again, is good use of time, and it's very much having a system in place so that you're, being most effective, because the email time will kill you in your sales career. It just bogs you down, so you've got to get a good system going. And even better, if you can do a tag team duo, get a cadence going where you have a short, well-crafted voicemail and a well-crafted email. In the studies we've done, it produces 18% more in reaching our prospective buyers with the companies that we work with, and it could be higher. I mean, our numbers could be low, not sure. And then, of course, there are the social platforms. This is the biggest advancement in how sales has changed. Everybody knows that. Buying has changed. I just encourage you to not stay digital. Pick up the phone, call the buyer, be creative, find out where they are, and meet them there. And then work a plan. Put a plan in place that really is effective for you. I feel like this is a stunning revelation, but think about this for a minute. Until you mail your business card to someone in the, old-fashioned snail mail, they do not have anything of substance other than a call or an email from you. You can put yourself on someone's desk by sending your business card, and I'm stunned at how few people ever do this. I'm talking about a 2-sentence card, handwritten card, and if you did 5 of these a week or 10 of these a week, your sales would go up. I promise it. I see it work. It happens. So don't write it off just because it seems like, do people still use the post office? They do. And think about the last time you got a handwritten note in the mail, and think how you maybe even showed it to someone else. A business card of yours could be what triggers your buyer to call you. And I see it on an ongoing basis. I've seen it work for me over the years many times. So don't discount that. And know that it's all about relationship building. It's about having conversations. At the end of the day, who did you talk to today? And what conversations are you having that are moving forward to lead you toward a win-win sales opportunity with a buyer? And what relationships are you building? We're all predisposed to certain preferences, and that's the challenge being human. I like email, so I'll live in email. I'm really good in social, love LinkedIn. I'm just going to do that all day long. But are you having the connections and the conversations? And if you are, that's great. My motto is, if it works, don't change it. But if you could increase by 1% every day, by 10% a week, and you got extra meetings, more appointments, would it be worth trying some of these things? Multifaceted. Think about a gemstone the next time you see one, and think about ways that you could diversify your strategy and put it in a process, a systematized process. It has a cadence, a pattern, and when you walk in the morning to do your job, to make your calls, to reach out to your prospective new customers, there's a system in place to help make that happen, and you don't walk in cold, not knowing really what it is what you have there to do. So multifaceted, it will help you grow sales, increase your base of customers, and if you have any questions about this, I guarantee if you do this, you'll grow sales. So questions, tweet me, call me, or email me. And thank you for your time.
Hi, this is Bob Perkins, founder and chairman of the AA-ISP. It's great to be with you today. Thanks for joining us at this virtual summit. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is inside sales. We'll spend some time talking about State of the Union, where we are today, and what's happening tomorrow, and a little bit about the future. So hope you enjoy this session. I'm going to start with a quote I heard last week in Chicago as we completed the annual AA-ISP Leadership Summit. An individual walked down the hallway, and I heard him talk to a colleague, and he said, "Hey, inside sales is on fire." Well, I believe inside sales is absolutely on fire. Our growth is unbelievable. The opportunity is unbelievable. There's a lot going on, but with it comes some challenges. So we'll look at State of the Union. I'll talk through some of the challenges as uncovered by the AA-ISP Top Challenges research we completed. And then we'll look at the future. So let's get started. First of all, State of the Union. We have a ton of opportunities. As I mentioned, job growth is through the roof. In fact, it's 3 times that of field sales. And in about the last 8 years, we'll have added 800,000 inside sales jobs in the U.S. alone. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of jobs being created. Our community is being coming together. We're getting galvanized through a movement. And AA-ISP is at the center of that movement, but it's really beyond the AA-ISP. It's a movement. We're now accepted by organizations. In fact, some of them are leading with inside sales first. before they add any other resources. New roles are being created. The role of the business development rep is exploding as well. And the technology boom. I mean, all of the applications and technologies now supporting this virtual digital information exchange between sales rep and the customer is incredible. You know, there are some challenges though, right? Because we're growing so fast and we don't have enough trained people, both at the front line and the leadership level, there's a candidate shortage. Training and development is the number 1 or 2 challenge out there as stated by leaders and reps. We're growing so fast, we haven't been able to train and develop fast enough is the issue. Lead quality is still important, still an issue. And, you know, the senior leadership gap is unbelievable. I get calls all the time. I'm looking for a senior director, vice president, senior vice president, and we can't fill them. So we got to get serious about that. Let's take a look at some of the statistics. You know, I talked about the growth here. You can see in this chart the rapid growth of inside versus field sales, and 800 jobs being added incrementally in a matter of 7 or 8 years. We just finished our 4th annual Top Challenges report. We added some sales trends in there, which are quite interesting. We'll look at. First of all, a little bit about the research. 2/3 of the respondents were considered leaders. 1/3 were at the front line. Here's a great statistic. You know, this time-tested team model, which years ago it was probably 90% of what was deployed, is still the most prominent inside sales model. But look at discreet, where the sales rep owns the quota from beginning to close. No one else is involved. That's growing year over year. In fact, I predict it'll be just a few years where the discreet overtakes the team selling model. And by the way, this is being driven by not inside sales. It's being driven by the customer. They prefer to be sold to in a digital, virtual type of environment. More about that in a few slides. Here's what the leader selected as their top challenges. Training and development, number 1, followed closely by recruiting and hiring. Where do we get the talent? And because we have to go less experience in our recruiting efforts, some right out of new college hires, training and development is critical to keep up with that. Lead quality and quantity was up there, as was this tools and technology. And they're saying, look, the tools and technology are great, but there's so much out there. Which ones do I really have to have versus they're nice to have? Here's a little bit about the frontline reps. You can see the most common position, the regular quota-carrying inside sales rep, followed right behind by the business development, the BDR. This role is just exploding. And it's probably growing even faster than traditional inside sales. Here's what the frontline reps said is their greatest challenge. No surprise, they said lead quality. I need better leads. I need leads that are further along the sales cycle. That's been around for a number of years, but we still got to pay attention to it for sure. But look, they selected the second one as the training and development. They're saying, please, develop me. I want to get better at my career. So we have a kind of a nice correlation between leadership and frontline around this whole training and development thing. At the 2014 Leadership Summit in Chicago, I said, let's make the year 2014 the year of training and development. And again this year I said, let's make it another year of training and development, but with a little twist, I said, it needs to be for our leaders first. Let's commit to developing our managers, our leaders first, because they're the most important. Here's some trends that we uncovered through the Top Challenges research. Obviously, inside sales headcount growth. I mean, look at these statistics. 96% are either remaining the same or growing. 2/3 said they're going to add headcount. It's unbelievable. Training. We asked about training and development because it was so important. They said, we are going to increase our training efforts. 85% said we're going to increase. Now, the comments behind this statistic didn't have a lot of meat to them. A lot of them saying, well, we're just going to do more training, right? Or we're going to hire an external trainer, something like that. they didn't have all the answers. So this is an area specifically that the AA-ISP is addressing. I'm going to talk to you about that in a few slides. This was a great statistic and question that we asked here. What are those tools that are helping you sell in this digital age, in this virtual age? LinkedIn is, to no surprise, is way up there. But look at texting. Almost half of the inside sales reps are actually texting their customers. Now, a few years ago we would have thought, I'm not going to text a customer, let alone a prospect, but it's here. The one that surprises me on this chart is the live video. It's kind of like we're doing here a little bit, because I have a webcam going so you can see me. Only 8% are using video, so I believe that the use of video is an opportunity that we need to take advantage of, and hopefully we're going to see that number increase year over year. So, a little bit about how great inside sales has been growing, the adoption by customers, how a lot of companies are now moving to a discrete model. They're giving quota. They're moving quota from a traditional field sales rep into inside sales. It's shifting, right? But we have a hiring, recruiting, and training development huge challenge out there. Where do we go from here, right? So, first of all, first point, let's all commit to embracing the age of digital selling. And again, it's being driven by the customer. Last week in Chicago, our keynote presenter, Judy Buckholz, who runs Global Inside Sales, an organization of 6,000 for IBM, said they're changing, they're going to start moving their name from inside sales to digital sales, right? And regardless of what you call it, digital sales is the use of remote communications, screen shares, texting, email, the web, right? All of those pieces to engage and work with and move clients or prospects through the selling process. We know our customers are asking for it. In fact, a statistic that I recently saw by Forrester said something like 72% of the field sales reps are now adopting all of this digital technology because that's how their customers want to buy from them. Right? So let's adopt this. We really need to develop tomorrow's leaders. That's a big pain point right now. So the AA-ISP, along the lines of training and development, has come up with 3 certifications, right? We have a certification developed 4 or 5 years ago called the CISP, the Certified Inside Sales Professional. We have nearly 1,000 students that have gone through that program. Last year, we knew leadership needed development. We created the only thing of its kind that's available out there called the AISM, Accredited Inside Sales Manager. That's strictly for inside sales leaders, and it's content-rich, helping leaders develop. There's nothing out there like it. And then this year, just last week, we announced the third leg to the stool, if you will, and that's organizational certification. So we have the rep, we have the leader, now we have the ISOI, the Inside Sales Organizational Index. And it allows your team, your organization to be assessed, to be benchmarked, and to be scored. Hopefully to earn a certification, but maybe not if you need to improve. So you need to join the community. That's the 4th point. I did skip over adopt inside sales best practices, so let me touch on that. And that is, if you've never been to an AISP event or a chapter meeting, you got to go, right? These are passionate, forward-thinking, progressive inside sales reps and leaders coming together to share ideas, to improve. There's so much out there. Get on board. Finally, you got to, if you're not an AISP member, and I know a lot of you are, if you've thought about it, you got to become a member. You got to join this movement, because the movement, again, it's way beyond the AISP, but we're at the core of this. We're expanding. We're going to cross 10,000 members. You need to claim I'm in and join the movement. So how do you do that? Just get out to our website, www.aa-isp.org. Find out what membership's all about. We'd love you to join. Together, we're taking inside sales to the next level of professionalism and performance. Thanks. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the virtual summit.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about today's speakers in the Q&A box now. Also, tomorrow we'll email you a link to today's recorded webinar, so feel free to come back and listen, share at trainings, or share this with your colleagues. Also, we have some great downloads available in the Resources tab to your right, where it says free downloads. Check out some of the links from Trish and Lori and Bob, and also some of the free resources from InsideSales.com. I'd like to thank Trish, Lori, and Bob for the content that they have provided for today's webinar. I hope that it helps you sell smarter, sell faster, and sell more. Thanks again for joining us on the InsideSales.com webinar, and we'll see you next time. Happy selling.